I was 7 years old when this video was made, when these videos came out, when ContraPoints was making these videos. I was 7. And now I've been able to legally drink for almost 2 years. Alrighty, people. As you all know, I've gained quite the reputation here in this community and on the internet for being the biggest ContraPoints simp on the whole website. I think it's safe to say that I have that title. Do you all agree? Am I the biggest ContraPoints simp? I think I am, personally. I think that's the reputation I've garnered. No, that's me? No, it's me, okay? And I wear that badge with pride, okay? So whenever ContraPoints is getting canceled, I'm usually one of the first people to respond to it and talk about how stupid it is. And usually how cruel and fucked up it is. And today, well, yesterday, I stumbled across something wild on Twitter. Okay? Now I'm gonna like preface this before we get into, you know, what happened and like why ContraPoints is being canceled with a little bit of background. All right? So ContraPoints is a trans woman who makes content on YouTube. She is one of, if not the largest, like, independent left-wing content creator who makes political content. She's very successful, very large, and many people have quoted her as being one of the biggest steps for their journey from going from, like, right-wing to left-wing in their, like, political sort of journey, I guess you could say. She doesn't call herself, like, a de-radicalizer or anything like that, but she has sort of been given that title because of a lot of things, including the Faraday Speaks New York Times article where he talked about, like, leaving the alt-right rabbit hole. And so ContraPoints has kind of been, like, given the title of, like, a de-radicalizer, probably against her own will. If I were to guess, she probably thinks it's kind of cringy.
But there's this media narrative that my role in the discourse is de-radicalizing young alt-right men. And it's true that if you read the leftist YouTube fan subreddits, I used to be alt-right posts are so common they're considered cliche.
And when you're called that, people assume you call yourself that. So a lot of people, you've probably noticed, a lot of the cancel happy types on Twitter tend to call ContraPoints, like, they tend to try to raise doubts against the idea that she is this de-radicalizer when she doesn't even call herself that. Other people do, because it's typically what seems to have ended up happening. So, as we all know, the people who don't like ContraPoints on Twitter are fucking psychopaths. They are some of the most obsessive pieces of shit I've ever seen. Their obsession with Contra rivals that of 4chan, okay? It is insane to me. And they did it again, guys. And they dug up something. They dug up something about ContraPoints, a little bit of dirt, that I don't really think is that dirty as you'd think, from a very long time ago. And many of you guys probably don't know about this. But I want to respond to this and get out in front of this before it catches more traction. Because right now, it's only really like the more insular, woke scoldy communities talking about it. It's been getting a lot of attention, but not as much as, say, the Buck Angel thing did, right? But I have no doubt that if we don't get out in front of this and kind of like combat the narrative before it blows up, then you just, when you have the opportunity to get out in front of a cancellation and stop it before it happens, it's usually best to do that because it's much harder to prevent it's easier to prevent a cancellation than it is to undo a cancellation. Also, content warning. What we're about to see includes images and videos of ContraPoints pre-transition. So that gives you an idea into like how, what kind of people these woke scolds are, and that they're willing to share around images and videos of a pre-transition trans woman because they don't like her. Just a little content warning there in case that's something you don't like. Anyway, though, let's take a look. This tweet ended up on my timeline last night. So first, we're just going to show you this image here. Interesting. Islam, reform or get out. 1 week ago, 1,000 views by what appears to be a YouTube account by the name of an odd spelling of Nicotine 2. And you've got ContraPoints here. From, like, a long time ago, clearly. This person said, being a far-right edgelord extremist who sent pornography to feminists regularly and then becoming moderately liberal doesn't mean you're an expert on de-radicalization. Now, funny thing is, even though this person claims to be a lefty in their Twitter bio, just to give you, a little more insight into the type of people that are trying to cancel ContraPoints, this person follows Tucker Carlson and a bunch of other Nazgul figures, so, maybe just a little bit, maybe just a little thing you might want to know about these types of people, maybe worth knowing. Anyway, this is real. I checked. This is real. It is from about 15 years ago, it seems, from everything I've looked into. People hunted down this old YouTube channel and found it on, what's it called, Wayback Machine, and found a bunch of old videos from when she was, like, a little bit more reactionary. Now, this is really weird to me because, for starters, do you want to know how old I was when this video came out? I'm 22 now. Do you want to know how old I was 15 years ago when she was making these videos? I was 7 years old. I was 7 years old when this video was made, when these videos came out, when ContraPoints was making these videos. I was 7. And now I've been able to legally drink for almost 2 years. Or a little over a year. I mean, I'm used to seeing people on Twitter, like these crazy woke scoldy, like cancel happy psychos, bring up clips from like a year ago, or 2 or 3 or 4 years ago even, maybe even 5 years ago, like when it comes to canceling someone who does not hold the same positions now. But God, it really must say something about these people. They have to go back digging 15 plus years ago to find dirt on a person to get them canceled. Does that maybe speak to that, a little bit? The channel name Soft Dead names her? Well, of course it does, considering the fact that, like, of course she made the channel herself back in 2015. Yes, of course it dead names her, okay? But I'm sorry. I just found that funny. Like when someone says the channel Soft Dead names her, of course it does. She made this YouTube channel 15 years ago. Of course it yeah. If you go back to Wayback Machine, okay. I'm sorry. I'm gonna kill myself. Anyway, in a video game. All right. So I think there's a link here, and we can like just take a look at some of the at the Wayback Machine thing here. I think someone commented a link to it. Here we go. So this is the old March 10th, 2009 is when this snapshot was taken. Whoo! Sheesh! Talk about going back in time, am I right? A lot of these titles are obviously quite ironic in ContraPoints' sense of humor. I don't think that back in the old days, ContraPoints, who was an atheist making atheist videos, thought that lesbians were God's people, God's chosen people. I think it's like a meme. And yeah, there's just a lot of this shit is like, some of it isn't, like, we have some like meme videos, some philosophy shit and stuff. And then you've got this video, which is one of the ones that got people really angry. Islam, reform, or get out. I feel like the people trying to claim that this is like dirt on ContraPoints, I don't think they've ever watched a ContraPoints video. I legitimately think they've never. She was 17. Okay. I legitimately don't think that they've ever watched one of her videos. Unironically, ContraPoints on a regular basis on her live streams, in some of her videos, in appearances she's had on other people's channels, regularly brings up the fact that when she was younger, she was kind of like an edgelord atheist type. This isn't like a surprise or a secret. This isn't like a thing that she's tried to bury. And I don't know if you guys think, like, if you guys think that this is like right-wing reactionary shit, then you are a baby. And do you want to know how I know you're a baby? You're like a 13-year-old or a 14-year-old or maybe even a 15-year-old. Even that might be getting too old. If you think this is like far right shit, then holy fuck. Oh my God. I wish I could take you back in time to the political scene back in 2014 to 2016, because a big talking point that helped, like, the original anti-SJWs were all atheist YouTubers, like The Amazing Atheist and Cult of Dusty. They all made atheist content. And so a lot of their content, when it got political, they talked about Islam a lot, because Islam in many areas can be quite, there's some ideas in radical Islam that aren't exactly something you would want to support, especially as a progressive person. I think we can all agree with that. And a big talking point back then was Islam hasn't reformed to the same degree that Christianity has to be a little bit less problematic in our modern day world. And so a big talking point is that Islam needs a reformation similar to that of Christianity. Yeah, and Thunderfoot, there's another good example. This talking point was ubiquitously repeated by everybody in the political scene, left and right, back in the day. This wasn't like an alt-right Nazi thing. This isn't anything special. But what I know is going to happen here, and this is what's going to happen. Okay, this is what's going to happen. I don't think this just now getting brought up and getting a little traction on Twitter is going to lead to anything soon. I think it's going to lead to something next time ContraPoints uploads a video. What I think is going to happen is someone's going to, get a hold of this, and they're going to hold on to it for a while. Then ContraPoints is going to upload her next video in 2077. That'll be the next time she uploads a new video. In 2077, she'll upload a new video, and then because people are talking about her on Twitter, because every time she uploads on Twitter, a bunch of people on there, like the cancel happy Twitter psychopaths, start trying to cancel her again every time she uploads because they get reminded of her existence. Then they're gonna bring this up, and then it's gonna get a lot of attention. That's what's going to happen. This cancellation is in the making. It'll happen next time she uploads. I'm sorry, I thought we were lefties. I thought we were progressives. I thought we believed that people could change and that we believed in reformative justice. I didn't realize we unironically believe that once you do a bad thing, your soul is permanently tainted, and the only way to absolve yourself is death, apparently. And a harsh, cruel, retributive punishment, I suppose. So, unfortunate. I still had a nightlight when she made that video. Yeah, I want to be clear here. A non-zero amount of people mad at ContraPoints about these videos weren't alive when these videos were made. I'm not kidding. The age of the average Twitter woke scold is lower than that of the amount of time it's been since those videos were put out. Many of these Twitter woke scolds were loads of cum in their dad's balls when these videos were put out, okay? That's how far back we're going to try to dig up dirt on ContraPoints, okay? Now listen, I know Xander Hall, ContraPoints simp. I play into the meme a little bit, but I want to be very clear here. The reason why I'm defending ContraPoints isn't because I think she's pretty or smart or I like her content or I'm friends with her, and those things are true. I'm not super close friends with her, but we're chill. Those things are all true, but it's not the reason why I defend ContraPoints from cancellation. The reason why I defend ContraPoints from cancellation is because I've seen what happens to content creators who get canceled due to misinformation and bad faith arguments when no one but them steps up to debunk the misinformation. No one can defend against a cancellation on their own. When other people come out and argue against the misinformation being put out when someone gets canceled, that's how you effectively fight against that misinformation. How many people out there do you think, somewhere in the political space, do you think heard the Xander Hall has a sex cult accusations 2 years ago at this point or something, and believed it, didn't question it, ran with it, unsubscribed from me, then never watched my content again? A lot. I mean, hell, fuck. You guys have seen how many people think Vosh is a pedophile because of the quote where he's literally arguing with a vegan that CP and a lot of the products that we consume on a daily basis are both made through the suffering of children, and that's a bad thing. Like when those little clips and the misinformation gets spread out, people start to believe it, and you've got no control over what other people think of you based entirely on misinformation. I hate that. If people want to criticize me or Vosh or ContraPoints or anyone like that, I'd prefer if they did it for reasons that are actually true. There's plenty to critique me about. There's plenty to critique ContraPoints about, I'm sure. And there's plenty to critique Vosh and everybody else about. But it's when valid critiques get co-opted by dishonest liars that I have a problem. That's what cancellation is. That's what getting canceled is. Hot take, the term cancel culture is just another example of black culture being appropriated by white people and white people oversaturating the term because they don't know what it means. Yeah, true. Same thing goes for simp. Basically, every bit of slang that you hear on a daily basis was invented by black people. And in many cases, black people of LGBT black people, like gay black people, invented like a lot of the slang that we hear, like simp, I believe comes from, I know it comes from the black community. I think it comes from the gay black community, actually. Like all these terms that you hear like white boys fucking ruining the definition of by overusing it in ways it's not supposed to until the definition is changed, all came from black people, okay? Like, yeah, no shit. White people do tend to appropriate black culture in this country especially. Can we watch the videos, or is that impossible? I'm gonna take a hot guess and say we can't. Even if we could, I don't know if I want to watch a video from a trans woman pre-transition on my stream. I don't even think that would be like... I think probably one of the most disgusting things about this too is the fact that it, not just that it's a nothing burger, but the fact that they're throwing around and trying to share around images and clips of a pre-transition trans woman. Like that comes off to me as super fucked. I don't know about you guys, but it doesn't sit right with me at all. At all. It's funny that some of the most oversensitive dumb fucks on Twitter who will accuse you for being transphobic if you like fart in the same room as a trans person. It's funny that those are the same people who are passing around images and screenshots of a trans woman pre-transition. I find that absolutely heretical. I don't know why we don't just call them harassment campaigns. It's because the word harassment has become a dirty word. If you say someone's harassing you, it feels like you're complaining about like... It makes it sound like you're triggered. But if you say you're canceled, it sounds like a bunch of triggered people are going after you. The words just have different connotations in internet culture, and that's why people use canceled instead of harassment campaign. If you say it's a harassment campaign, it makes you sound weak. If you say you're getting canceled, it makes other people sound crazy. The people that are trying to cancel you sound crazy. There are trans people that are transphobic, to be fair. Well, of course, but, you know, we're talking about like the most overzealous, you know, woke scolds out there. You know, we're not talking about Blair White. We're talking about like the woke scolds on Twitter. Anyway, I think I've said all I need to say about this. People trying to cancel ContraPoints, you're dumb fucks, and you should Roblox yourself. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell icon next to the subscription button if you haven't already. If you don't do that, YouTube will not tell you when I go live or upload a new video or anything like that. So if you actually want to know when I put content on my channel, you gotta hit that bell icon. I'm not kidding. This isn't a joke, by the way. Like, you actually have to do that. You can also follow my social media if you like, all linked down below, especially my Twitter. Definitely follow me on Twitter and TikTok. I want to start kicking up my content on TikTok soon. My Twitter especially, because that's obviously where all the spicy memes are. If you want to keep up with things, Twitter is the place to do it. What breed of dog is that in the background? I don't know, actually, but she's burying her face like a little baby. Hello? Look at that little baby. Oh. Oh, she bit. She bit me. She said, yeah. Anyway. Make sure to follow me on Twitter. That's where all the spicy memes are. And of course, finally, join my fan Discord. Make sure to join my fan Discord. Guess what? When Shang-Chi and The Legend of the Ten Rings makes it onto Disney+, you better believe we're doing a big old motherfucking watch party of it in there. And also, we may soon be doing a watch party of Game of Thrones in my Discord as well. With my boy Ethan. We might be starting up Game of Thrones and doing a watch party of that. So if you want to see some dragons and titties and react to it with me and my boy Ethan in VC, Better come check that out. Dragons and titties, baby. Anyway, finally, of course, if you want to support me financially to help out the channel and keep me doing what I'm doing, please consider donating or subscribing on my website, xanderhall.com/live. Linked it down there in the description. That's also the chat that you see on screen. Yeah, I've got my own website. For the people that don't know, in YouTube chat over there, this is my website. I have my own website with my stream embedded right there, just like you have it on YouTube, and a whole custom chat and everything. You make an account on there, subscribe, there's custom emotes. It's its own whole chat, and that's the chat you see on screen. It's the chat that I actually read. So make sure to check that out. You can also hit the join button, become a channel member on YouTube, or super chat. And of course, there's also Twitch, Streamlabs, and Patreon. Links down below. Don't donate or subscribe or give me any money if you can't afford to. But no matter how you support the channel, I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good one.